Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. On today's episode, we hit the midway point of the season. We are 41 games in, 41 games left. So we're going to do a check-in on every player, kind of see how their season is going, look at their counting stats, look at their analytics, and then, of course, also check in on where the Sharks rank as well among other NHL teams. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today is a great YouTube episode as I made a ton of graphics. We have a bunch of analytics is slideshow presentation today. So, yes, the Sharks officially halfway through the schedule right now with their loss to the Bruins on Saturday night. At this point, they are 41 games in, 12 wins, 21 losses, and 8 overtime losses for 32 points. A nice 0.39 points percentage this year, which would put them at the fourth worst when it comes to point percentages, with a massive matchup against the Coyotes on Tuesday. And instead of kind of recapping two games from over the weekend that were, it's Friday night and Saturday night, I thought it'd be better to kind of dig into how the Sharks season is going. So we have a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and just get started with that. Sharks, like I said, league ranked 29th, 7th in the division. Going to look at actually some of their actual stats and see where they actually rank. So goals for per game, they are all situations. 22nd at 305 goals for per game. Goals allowed, they are 5th worst in the NHL at 3.68. This team can score, especially we've seen kind of since the calendar hit November. The team can score with most teams on most nights, but they just struggle to keep the puck out of their own net. Power play is ranked 20th in the league at 20.5%. Bit of a slump here the last couple games. December was one of the most consistent things was their power play, where they scored in 11 of 12 games for the Sharks. But as of recently, they have kind of struggled here. It's gone 5 games without a power play goal. PK, of course, their one shining bright spot at 84% behind the Bruins. So, yes, shots per game for the Sharks. So, 22nd in the league. They averaged 29.8 shots per game. And then shots allowed per game. So 22nd at 30.2. So actually not too bad. As we've seen with the Sharks a lot of it is very catastrophic. So when they do give up something, it's usually goes horribly wrong. So the goaltending has kind of sunken in this team this year. So yeah, it's been kind of that's been the story of the season for the Sharks, is they can play enough offense and their defense has been okay-ish. But when things go wrong, just things go catastrophically wrong and things go in the back of the net. So let's start digging into the forwards here. So what I did was basically all the forwards. I didn't add Luke Cunnin since he is done for this season. I didn't add him. And then, so I did it alphabetically by forwards, defense, and then by goalies. Marcus Nunavara, I didn't add, of course, because he hasn't played. And then, I think everybody else is included. I'm looking at. So we're going to dig in. And then kind of some of the other young guys who haven't played that much. Your Jeffrey VLs, your CJ Ceases. I didn't include Aaron Dell or E2 Makademi just because they both only played 2 games. So I try to kind of guys that we've seen at least a chunk of, right? So Nick Cicek is the least amount of games played at 10 games so far this season. So let's get into it. So starting with Alexander Barabanov, 36 games this year, 6 goals, 19 assists, shots on goal at 71, average time on ice 18:05. His Corsi for percentage. So the shot. So Corsi for, a reminder, is how many shot attempts when you're on the ice. When Barabanov is on the ice, the team takes 48.17% of the shot attempts. Goals for, kind of a fancy way of saying plus minus. Both your Corsi and your goals for, these are at 5-on-5. 44.23% of the goals for are on the ice. The Sharks score 44.23% of the goals for when Barabanov is on the ice. His numbers a little disappointing. I know he had a very slow start this season, at least with his analytics. Very slow start this season, but it has been producing more recently. His goals for per 60, expected goals per 60, Corsi for per 60, expected goals allowed per 60, and his Corsi allowed per 60, all pretty close to replacement level player, but power play Barabanov has been a huge addition to that first unit. His goals for per 60, expected goals per 60 are above kind of the 1 mark or whatever. So he's been a boost for that. We've seen, we've documented very much on this podcast how well him and Couture play together, especially with Barabanov's skill set of his transition game. And then his passing has really helped solidify the second line. Nick Bonino, 38 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, shots on goal at 49. Average ice time is 15:56. So his Corsi for at 5-on-5 is 43.28. And his goals for are 40 is at even 40%. So again, Nick Bonino not bringing the offense that, that's not why you have Nick Bonino. So his numbers though are kind of a little bit worse than expected. Goals for per 60, expected goals for per 60, and Corsi for per 60, all negative, kind of all in the red. Expected goals allowed per 60, positive. So at least if he's giving up shots, they're not as dangerous as expected. Corsi allowed per 60, also in the negative. Corsi, and then on the power play, again, this power play 2 unit is a hot mess. I think Shang wrote about it recently, but goals for per 60, expected goals for per 60, negative for all the power play, which is not good to see. So a little tough there. Let's do Couture, and then we'll take a break here. So Logan Couture, 41 games played, one of the 4 Sharks players who's played every game so far. 15 goals, 18 assists, shots on goal 94. Average time on ice 18:54. Corsi for 45.88%, and then goals for 44.64%. So again, when he is on the ice, the other team is usually taking more shots. And then his goals for, again, at 44.64. So again, the other team tends to score a little bit more, but we know Couture is usually getting kind of the more defensive starts. So, and then analytics, goals for per 60, slightly positive. Expected goals for per 60, slightly positive. Corsi for per 60, negative, just under the first variation. Expected goals allowed per 60, slightly positive. And then Corsi allowed per 60, kind of a little troubling there. But again, so he's giving up a lot of shot attempts. But again, Couture is usually getting those defensive zone starts. So on the power play, Couture continues to kind of shine there. Goals for per 60, he's producing. Expected goals for per 60, he's helping to create a lot of goals. He's actually probably should have more power play goals when he's on the ice, but we know Timo Meier is kind of hogging all those. And then Corsi 4/60 positive as well. All right, before we continue, do want to take a quick break. Let you guys know about our friends over at Athletic Greens. If you guys right now, new year, new me, kind of one of the best things you can do is take control of your gut health. That's where Athletic Greens comes in their AG1. Great way to, again, you want better gut health, more energy, optimized immune system, but you want to take a bunch of pills. That's where AG1 comes in. Cup of water, scoop of their AG1, drink it before you have your coffee in the morning, and you're good to go. You get 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Costs less than $3 a day, cheaper than going to get coffee every day. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, and still tastes good. Has like a nice little chocolate taste to the end of it. So they're making it really easy right now. Athletic Greens giving you free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the daily nutritional insurance. All right, so back at it with the forwards. So again, Jonah Gadovich, sneaky becoming kind of one of my favorites. I don't know. There's just something about Gadovich. So he knows his role. I think that's, games. He's played 24 games this year, 2 goals, 2 assists, 24 shots on goal, 858 average time on ice. Corsi 4, 50.83%. So again, when Gadovich is on the ice, these Sharks are out shooting their opponent. Goals for 40.91%. Tough there. Analytics. So goals for per 60, kind of 0. Expected goals for per 60, a little bit of positive there. Corsi for per 60, just a slightly negative. Expected goals per 60, slightly negative. And Corsi allowed per 60. So he's doing a good job of producing expected goals and keeping the other team from getting shots, just not getting the goal support that you would expect there. So Sharks might have found, again, if Jonah Gadovich is playing on your fourth line, I think you could be doing worse. So, yes. Noah Gregor, 19 games, 2 goals, 0 assists, 36 shots on goal, 11:58 average time on ice. Corsi for 39.78, goals for 33.33%. So when Gregor takes the ice, the Sharks are badly out getting shot and badly getting scored on. And it reflects it in his analytics. So his only positive is the expected goals for per 60 is slightly positive. Everything else is red with the Corsi allowed per 60. 2 variations bad. It's Noah Gregor probably isn't going to be a San Jose Shark next year, if I had to guess. Just looking at the way he's utilized, and when he's on the ice, he just does not produce. So power play, he played basically 2 shifts of power play time. So not much to see there from Noah Gregor. When Tomas Hertl, 39 games, again, missed 2 games because of the suspension. So 13 goals, 24 assists, 97 shots on goal. Little low from in that category, but again, when you're playing with Timo Meier and you see his shot total here, you'll probably understand why. Average time 19:31. Corsi for 54.17, goals for 53.97. So when Hertl is on the ice, these Sharks tend to do good things offensively. They're out shooting their opponent, outscoring their opponent. Typical Tomas Hertl. So analytics kind of read the same thing. Goals for per 60, very good. Expected goals for 60, pretty good. Corsi for per 60, again, good. All good things here. Expected goals allowed per 60, slightly negative, and same thing with the Corsi allowed per 60, slightly negative for both those. Again, we know Tomas Hertl isn't known for his defensive game. he's solid in that department, but that's not why, Tomas Hertl he's never going to be a like Selke type of player. But goals for per 60, and on the power play, expected goals for 60 and Corsi for per 60, all good for Tomas Hertl. You know what you're getting with Tomas Hertl for the next, several years. Kevin Labanc, I will say when you see his analytics card here in a minute, it is wild. Played 40 games, has only missed one. 9 goals, 14 assists. Shots on goal, 73. Average time on ice, 15:33. Corsi for 57.23. Best on the team. Goals for percentage, 55.93%. Best on the team. Kevin Labanc is on the ice. This is when the Sharks are at their best, apparently. His even strength numbers are absolutely insane. Goals for per 60, almost at two deviations. Expected goals per 60, a little over 1. Corsi for per 60, expected goals per 60, Corsi allowed per 60, all close to 2 deviations. Like when Kevin Labanc is on the ice, these Sharks create a lot of offense and are able to limit the defense. Labanc's power play, goals for per 60, -2, which is a little weird to see because we think of Labanc as a power play specialist who can shoot the puck. I know he's been mostly playing on that second line power play, so you would think that if he had a little more juice on that second line, aboard lower Eklund, etc., not your Nico Sturms and your Nick Boninos, etc., you would see his power play numbers a lot better. But this is extremely pleasing to see for Kevin Labanc, who's been much aligned, especially after last year missing, the majority of the season and kind of being in Bob Bugner's doghouse. Labanc seems to have found his game under David Quinn, and that is good to see for Sharks fans. So Oscar Lindblom, 39 games, 3 goals, 6 assists, 34 shots on goal. Average time on ice a little over 10. I screwed up on the expected goals for. Let me pull that up. So goals for 47.54. Goals for percentage, Oscar Lindblom, 41.67. So my bad on the little graphic there. I forgot the 4 at the beginning. 41.67% for Lindblom. And the analytics, kind of what you would expect. Goals for per 60, expected goals per 60, and Corsi allowed per 60, all basically 0. And then expected goals for per 60 and Corsi for per 60, kind of in the negative. So Lindblom, I think, has kind of struggled to find his role in his first season in San Jose, and he's started to produce a little bit more. So hopefully he can, now that he's kind of figured out his role, hopefully he can continue to kind of grow into it. And once some people get moved out, maybe he gets an opportunity to kind of take advantage of potential minutes that are coming here. So Steven Lorentz, pleasantly surprising season from him, part of the Brent Burns trade. 39 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, 51 shots on goal, a little over 11 minutes average time on ice. 49.36 Corsi for, goals for 33.67. So a little tough to see there. And you see that with his analytics card, goals for per 60 negative, but his expected goals for 60 is positive. Corsi for per 60 is a little negative in the offensive zone. And then expected goals and Corsi allowed per 60 are positive. So get a little tough with the puck luck there, I think. And not producing as much offense as you would expect. But again, Steven Lorentz, he's your fourth line. I think he's helped to solidify that fourth line role. So Timo Meier, he's good at hockey. 41 games played, 23 goals, 17 assists, shots on goal, 191 shots on goal. So if you're wondering why Hertl hasn't, Timo Meier is literally taking them all. 20 minutes and 12 seconds of time on ice. Average time on ice. Corsi for 55.39, goals for 51.52, and it's all green. It's all blue and positive in the analytics world. So goals for per 60 is a little bit lower than you would kind of expect. But Corsi 4, we know Timo Meier, he's going to shoot. He's a volume shooter, not the most accurate shooter, but he's a volume shooter. That is how he gets his numbers. So, and he's been getting his numbers this season. All right, Matt Nieto, 37 games played, 7 goals, 7 assists, 59 shots on goal, 15.39 average time on ice. Corsi 4, 48.46, goals for 43.40%. Playing mostly on that second line with Couture and Barabanov. Goals for per 60, positive. Expected goals for per 60, negative. Corsi 4 per 60, positive. Expected goals allowed per 60, slightly negative. Corsi allowed per 60, positive. So doing a good job of kind of keeping these shots down, helping to produce shots. Maybe not the highest quality of shots, but he's doing his job. We know what Matt Nieto is. Some reason Matt Nieto getting tried out on the power play 2 unit, and it's not going very well as would expected. So Matt Nieto, perfectly cromulent third line player. I think he should be moved at the deadline because I think he can go help a team. If Matt Nieto is playing on your fourth line on a championship caliber team, I think you're feeling really good about it. So, yeah. If he's playing on your second line, you probably have questions. We got 2 more forwards here. So Nico Sturm has played 33 games, 9 goals, 3 assists, 57 shots on goal. Average time on ice is 14.50. Corsi 4, 45.15. Goals for 44.12. And his analytics, mostly kind of negative, which was a little bit surprising. Corsi allowed per 60 is slightly positive. I think he's playing. The eye test says Nico Sturm's kind of playing better than what the analytics say. Especially at 5-on-5. I would like to see, they've kind of been revolving wingers with Nico Sturm. We've had Benino Sturm, and then, it's usually like Svechnikov. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more offensively gifted, the player with him, but unfortunately the Sharks just don't have that right now. So, and then the final forward, Evgeny Svechnikov, 33 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 37 shots on goal, 10.57 time on ice. Corsi 4, 48.19, goals for 48.39. So for a guy you found on, signed literally right before the season started and you're paying a vet min, he's actually been a pretty solid contributor, I think, for the Sharks. Goals for per 60, slightly positive. Expected goals for per 60, Corsi 4 per 60, and expected goals allowed per 60, slightly negative, and then Corsi allowed per 60, slightly positive. So again, Svechnikov is literally on a vet min deal, and he's already been through waivers. So a guy you found for free, and he's coming in and helped, on the bottom 6. So, all right, before we get into the defense and the goalies, do want to take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at BetOnline. If you guys don't know by now, BetOnline is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. You have the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. We have, if you're listening to this on Monday, the college the college national championships tonight. If you want to get bet on that, you have NFL playoffs starting next weekend. You've got basketball, pro, you have college basketball. They've got you covered with everything you need at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, which you do because you're listening to one right now, you can find those as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get all your betting info in. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, on to the blue line. Matt Benning, 40 games, 1 goal, 17 assists. Kind of surprising when I saw the assist numbers there. So 29 shots on goal, 19-18 average time on ice. Corsi 4, 44.68. Goals allowed, 49.09. Benning, I feel, is... I was really surprised with the assist there. I think he's actually been a good signing for the Sharks. I know the 4 years is a little bit long, but he's making a little over $1 million. They're getting outshot, but they're helping. It's not as catastrophic with him. And I know he's been posterized a couple of times. He's, that's going to happen when you play defense. But I think he's been a really, really solid signing, as you'll see with his analytics. So his goal 4/60, slightly positive. Expected goals 4/60, negative. Corsi 4/60, it's pretty negative there. So he's giving up shot attempts, but his expected goals allowed per 60, super positive there. So over 2 variations. So he's doing a good job of, I'm gonna give up shots, but they're gonna be low percentage type of shots. Trying to kind of keep the high danger shots to a minimum. Corsi allowed per 60, slightly positive. Matt Benning, your power play 2 quarterback. Matt Benning, Godspeed, buddy, playing power play 2. Anyway, poor Matt Benning. So Nick Cicek, he's played 10 games, as a rookie, 0 goals, 4 assists, kind of a little surprising there. Good for you, Nick Cicek. 1 shot on goal. Average time on ice is 14:59, so about 15 minutes. Corsi 42.74, goals for 40%. So again, Cicek's a rookie who's played 10 minutes, an undrafted player who's kind of worked his way through this system. So his number analytics, again, small sample size of 10 games. He's played literally 142 minutes at 5-on-5. Goals 4/60, slightly negative. Expected goals 4/60, slightly negative. Corsi 4/60 is negative. Expected goals allowed per 60, slightly positive, and Corsi allowed per 60, slightly negative. So I think Nick Cicek is well on his way to being a solid third pair defenseman who, so that the Sharks basically found for free and have developed. So, yep. Mario Ferraro, it's a little worrisome that the rookie who plays 15 minutes has the same amount of assists as you. I know Ferraro's been dealing with some injuries and never going to be an offensive guy, but just anyway, games 31, 2 goals, 4 assists. He's got 31 shots on goal, 22-14 average time on ice, 45.76 Corsi for. So solid job with the shot attempts. Goals for, though, 34.55%. So again, the Sharks score 34% of the goals that are scored when Mario Ferraro is on the ice, compared to the 60 some odd that he gives up percentage of the goals. The analytics are not pretty for Mario Ferraro, and I know defensive analytics can be a little bit tough, but everything is red, and the only thing that's like even close to being is the expected goals allowed per 60. So Mario Ferraro has been on the kind of the third pair. I know last game he got bumped up to the second pair with Benning for a little bit, but Mario Ferraro is. You're paying $3.25 million for the next 4 years for a negative defenseman. So, yep. Sorry, guys. Scott Harrington, moving on. 14 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 15 shots on goal, 15:37 time on ice, 45.24%, goals for 45.45%. He's been solid. Goals allowed, or Corsi allowed per 60, he's been really bad and hemorrhaging shot attempt or shots there. But I think, again, a guy that you paid the vet min and you found at the beginning of the season, he's bounced between the Sharks and the Cuda, and that's kind of his role as the 7th defenseman. So with Radim Šimić out right now and probably going to be out for a little bit with what I suspect is a concussion, his second concussion of the season, I think Scott Harrington, you're probably going to be seeing a little bit more of him. So little pleasant surprise with his offense. So this dude, Erik Karlsson, also good at hockey. 41 games, He's played every game this season. One of 4 Sharks players. 13 goals, 41 assists, 112 shots on goal. Second on the team behind one Timo Meier. 25-13 average time on ice. Corsi for 55.01%. Goals for 55.1%. So again, when Erik Karlsson's on the ice, the Sharks take 55% of the shot attempts, and they score 55% of the goals that are scored when Erik Karlsson's on the ice. So if you look at the analytics, if you're looking at this right now, notice most of the other guys, the Z score, kind of like it stops at 3. I had to go to 5 with Erik Karlsson to get the full picture. Goals for per 60. He's at the 4th. He's 4 times better than than like a league average player or whatever, a league replacement player or whatever. Expected goals for per 60, Corsi for per 60, all positive. Expected goals allowed per 60, it is negative. But again, if you look at his expected goals for per 60, it outweighs, or his goals for per 60 outweighs expected goals allowed per 60. And then Corsi allowed per 60 is slight negative. Power play, he's amazing. Goals for per 60, expected goals for 60. They're all blue, dark blue. So purple, whatever. Erik Karlsson is very good at hockey. Jacob Megna, 38 games, 0 goals, 9 assists, 36 shots on goal, 1837 average time on ice. Corsi for 54%. Again, playing with Erik Karlsson will help you out. Goals for 51.52. And goals for per 60, slightly positive. Expected goals for per 60. Corsi for per 60. Expected goals allowed per 60, slightly negative. Corsi allowed per 60, slightly positive. And it's played a little bit of power play. I know they resigned him to a 2-year deal, but if a team comes calling for Megna, are you going to? Yeah, I mean, crazier things have happened. So, and then Radim Šimić, 31 games, played 1 goal, 1 assist, shots on goal 31, 14.44 average time on ice. Corsi for 46.15, goals for 32.14%. And goals for per 60 his analytics are brutal here. But expected goals for Corsi for expected, they're all kind of, basically or kind of minimum replacement. So Šimić, I thought you could tell he's been playing a lot more confidence this year. I know some of the numbers maybe don't kind of back it up here, especially with the expected goals for per 60. I mean, Šimic's a defensive defenseman who's going to go out there and, hit guys, and he's had plenty of those this year. But you feel bad though with what's probably his second concussion of the season. So you wonder how long he's going to be out for that. So just hope he gets healthy here. So. And then last among the defensemen, 41 games played for Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Again, one of the other Sharks who played every game. 1 goal, 11 assists, 34 shots on goal. Average time on ice, 18-18. Huge bump from last season, of course. Corsi for 47.18. Goals for 40.35. And Vlasic's kind of starting to, I don't want to say a vintage performance, but good to see Vlasic playing at a much higher level than we've seen. So goals for per 60, of course, is going to be negative. Expected goals for per 60, slightly positive. So maybe he needs a little puck luck here. Corsi for per 60 is non-existent. Expected goals allowed per 60, really positive, and Corsi allowed per 60. So Vlasic has done a good job of helping to shut down the other team when he is out there. So not bringing you much in the offensive zone, but again, that's not what you have Marc-Edouard Vlasic for. So let's get into the last 2 goalies and then we'll get out of here. Kaapo Kähkönen, he's played 16 games, 869 save percentage, 379 goals against average, 59 goals allowed. Expected goals allowed should be 41.4. So he's given up negative 17.6 goals saved above expected. And his high dangerous save, though, 676. We've seen this improve. It was around 500. We did kind of the 25% or the 3/4 pull, whatever you horse race nerds say. 676 save percentage. So he's worked on that. we'll see. I think this year just might be the goalies. It just might be it just might be voodoo with him this year, and then he bounces back and is great next year. Who knows? We'll see. The metrics, not very good. So the team, I think, is playing solid in front of him defensively. Again, what I talked about earlier, where it's the little mistakes that turn catastrophic for the Sharks, and that's what we have seen this year from them. And then the goalies, whenever those mistakes happen, they just have not been able to bail out the team. So any mistake basically just becomes catastrophic. So, yeah, not very good. So a lot of red on there. And then James Reimer, 22 games, 895 save percentage. Reimer's never had a save percentage under 900. So hopefully when he gets traded to another team, he can continue that streak. Goals allowed, 3.22. 3.22 GAA. Goals allowed, he's at 71 goals. Expected goals against 64.77. So goals saved above expected is negative 7.2. High danger save of 0.734. Kind of same thing. Reimer's been amazing on the shorthand on the PK. So if you wonder why these Sharks PK is good, you can point to James Reimer. James Reimer bailing them out, but kind of the same thing at 5-1-5, where just hasn't seen the same James Reimer this year that we have seen in the past. So yes, again, like I said, the team's playing okay, at least like average-ish, mediocre, we'll say. But the goalies just have not been able to bail them out, or it's been a catastrophic thing that kind of leads to the goals. So that's going to do it. A little bit long. Sorry, guys. I wanted to kind of cover everybody there. So we've covered every player who's played kind of at least 10 games for the Sharks this year. So you can kind of see why they're where they're at. Basically, if it's not for the Hertl line, they're getting outshot, and then the defense is doing a solid job, but then whenever things go bad, the goalies just can't bail them out. So that's why the Sharks are at where they're at right there. That's gonna do it for me. I'll be back tomorrow with a special interview. So if you want to find out who it is, go listen to the Locked On NHL show. I was on there with Gil, and I teased it there. So go check out that. Also, go check out, of course, the Locked On NHL Prospect show, your daily podcast covering your next generation of hockey superstars leading up to the NHL draft, plus NHL draft rankings, top prospect comparisons for every team. Locked On NHL Prospects available on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Listen wherever you get podcasts, and of course, watch this on YouTube. Good YouTube episode today. Graphics, charts, colorful things. So until tomorrow, when we have our special interview. Bye, friends.